So your energy engages me in the heart center with my inner child, and the inner child basically engaged me and said, "You're really going to like her." And my inner child has never commented on an energy before that I was reading, so that was quite unique. And from there, we pulled down basically starlight, which is something I sometimes do, and typically it just goes into my body and helps to higher my frequency. But this time I actually kept this glow of this starlight around me. And so as I moved into the sacred space of the heart, I had this glow, and it was really interesting because everything was just illuminated like times 10. So I would think your energy is probably pretty powerful. So then I go in to take down the healing colors, and I get into the root chakra and the red color and get propelled out instantly. This has been a running theme for these past 3 readings. But so root chakra, so I would assume there's shifts, so I think you did just move, so that's probably why I got propelled out. So a shift and change in your location and where you are now, and so then I'm on the Rainbow Road, and no, actually they propel me into the moon, which has never happened before, and so then it becomes your energy, and your energy is basically like in a crescent moon, and you're just kind of lying on the crescent moon and just like eyes closed, like loving just being in the moon's energy. And so I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and basically finally like there's this ladder that appears, and you start to crawl down rung by rung down this ladder, and it's honestly takes forever. You're taking your sweet time coming down from the moon, and finally you hit the Rainbow Road, and this is where the process kind of picks up. So from here then the ladder disappears, but the moonlight spotlights you, and I see you in this like gorgeous flowy dress, and you're like dancing in the moon spotlight. And so at this point I have really no clue. I'm trying to think of, what the impression of the moon is, or the symbol for me, or what this could mean. And I'm getting that there's some kind of guidance. There's some deep connection to the moon. I'm thinking like moon spirit, but I'm not familiar a ton with astrology, so I don't know if there is something connected directly to the moon, but I feel like there's like the moon is your guide. And so I just see you dancing in this moonlight, and the moon spotlight keeps moving, and you just follow it, and you're dancing and enjoying just being in the moon spotlight. And so from here, then we move through the portal, and as you move through this portal, you become like a shooting star. And so I see your body almost in like a Superman position, arm out forward, and you're like pushing like that sound barrier, right? And it's like this comet almost, and your hand fist is like pushing and creating this spray of starlight out behind you, and I get that you are a shooting star. And so then I hear that when you wish upon a star, that song starts going, and so I again just get that like so wishing upon a star, so very, very lucky, maybe very, very kind of magical course or life plan, and very Cosmo related. So far, the moon and the shooting star. So from here, after I get the hits of the song and the shooting star, then I see you go through 3 series of things, and it took me a while to figure out what this is. But so first, I see you on the uneven bars like in gymnastics, and you're doing this crazy routine, and it's like an impossible routine, and you're flipping and all this stuff, and so from there you actually fly off the top bar as if you're going to dismount, but you fly into the hands of somebody on a trapeze, and so you start swinging, doing flips, and like another impossible task in my opinion, and so from there then you fall down into a cannon, and you get shot out into another cannon. And so I'm getting like it's just the only word that keeps coming to mind is like choosing the impossible. Like you, and so later I find out that this is giving better clarification on your lesson plan and what you've chosen, and kind of connecting to the shooting star as well. Like for this life lesson plan, for this lifetime, you've chosen to encounter and come up against impossible tasks. And then what happened after this is you turned into this bird, which turned into a white dove. White doves always to me mean unconditional love. And so then I'm kind of connected to the shooting star, the impossible tasks, and the dove. And so your higher self later tells me that you basically have chosen a lesson plan in which you wake up as a spiritual being living a human existence. And so when that happens, typically people who kind of choose this path have what would be considered from an outsider's perspective a really hard life or lesson plan that they've had to live, like a lot of trials and tribulations and things that they've been faced with in their life that are really hard. And so I get that you have chosen all of these impossible tasks to have in this lifetime to help wake you up, and you've met all of these tasks with complete unconditional love. And that's why I think you're this lucky star, and like you're guided by this lucky star, because you have, even in the face of some of these really hard situations, continued to hold true to that unconditional love aspect, which is basically making all outcomes complete, divine, and like guided by this lucky star. And so from here, the bird, then you turn back into yourself and your energy, the ladder appears again and you go into the moon. And so again, it takes forever for you to climb rung by rung up this ladder and into the moon. And so this time I see you climb into the moon and you sit down in a lotus position, hands up in like a Gaian mudra, where your thumb and your pointer finger are together in that circle and the other three fingers are kind of sprawled out. And you're in this like meditative pose, but the hands are up higher than your head and your legs are folded in lotus. And so I'm getting, again, a very spiritual connection to the moon. And then I start to feel this like Hindu vibe, and I see you actually turn into like a blue Hindu goddess. And I'm not familiar at all, but so I'm asking, like, what the heck is going on with this moon energy? I don't really understand, but I keep getting there's some kind of guidance. And so I'm asking, who is this blue Hindu god? And I get the name Lakshmi in my head. And so I am not sure. I'm going to, when I'm done, I'm going to pause it and then come back in and tell you what I find. But Lakshmi, I don't know if Lakshmi has any connection to the moon, or I'm not really sure what the purpose of Lakshmi is. So I'll come back in and say that at the very end. But so I get that there's some kind of connection, and I actually get that Lakshmi is a guide for you. And Lakshmi is presenting herself in this way for you to call upon her. And I get that there's going to be some connection to the moon energy, whether you do rituals or you connect in full moon or new moon. I'm not sure what the energy would be, to connect you, but that you set up yourself and schedule yourself in such a way that you call down Lakshmi's energy to guide you and assist you. So then from here, we drop down and there's a cottage, and to me this is like the grandma's cottage, Little Red Riding Hood. And so anytime I am faced with Little Red Riding Hood's cottage, something is an obstacle inside that's going to come out. And so you move through, and there's like Medusa in there, and I'm sorry, but I really don't know, other than this being an obstacle. Like Medusa turns people into stone, and so as you open the door, you get faced with Medusa. So I don't know, maybe there's so since it came right after Lakshmi, I'm not sure, maybe there's going to be fear, unknown, or something that's going to stop you in your tracks, or something attached to that. I'm not really sure, but there's some kind of obstacle or something that's coming up, and maybe that's just it. Maybe there's some kind of obstacle that's going to be coming up for you, and so you need to start connecting with the energy of Lakshmi and receiving that divine kind of connection and guidance maybe to help you. Don't take too much. I'm not sure. I don't understand this symbology, so maybe you'll understand it more than I do. So then moving through here, then I see your Akashic records very far off in the distance, and it's like Sleeping Beauty's castle, right? And so this it's like a world away. And you start walking, and you walk and walk and walk and walk. And as you get to the doorsteps of the castle, you actually lie down and go to sleep like Cinderella. And so what this is meaning, or Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and you're like sleeping right on the steps of this castle. And so what this means to me, or what I got from this, is you have lived many lifetimes asleep to your power, or asleep to your divinity. And I get that's why you chose such a difficult life lesson plan this time around, because you wanted to be awake and you wanted to be conscious as a human living a spiritual destiny, and you're a spiritual being living a human, existence. So as we move through the castle doors, then basically it's like the whole inside is in this like bubble. There's this huge shiny bubble, and I get that it's like very pristine and clean and untouched. So again, I get that this is a new experience being in the Akashic records and like being in this wisdom. And so I'm not really sure again what this means, but I think it's a connection for you. The whole inside was like a carousel. It was a there was a big tube in the middle, and everything was like gold leaf painted and very like opulent, and I don't know, just over the top, really beautiful. But it was like literally a carousel, and I called down your higher self. Your higher self came and sat on one of the the horses, and I sat on another side, and we literally just like spinned up the middle tube and talked, and like your higher self would grab a book and like open it up, and there's more wisdom, and it was just so easy and effortless. And so I guess maybe that's what needs to be conveyed, is that like this for you will be very effortless. You just have to start to get into a practice and start calling on your guides for assistance and help. And so your higher self, I was asking what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time. Literally, your higher self took me through and made me review every single step of the process to make sure I had the symbology correct. And basically, I was asking, well, I get that you're supposed to call on Lakshmi and bring in this energy, and this is going to be a guide for you. So what's this person looking for? What's she, going to be coming up against? And I honestly, they wouldn't give me anything, but said you need to start opening yourself to this energy. And so I think Lakshmi really presented herself to you today as a divine goddess to start to get you aligned maybe into this energy so that you can start to move forward. I feel like there's really, 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 really big things coming for you. A lot of energy waiting for you, and a lot of guidance waiting for you. And I feel like your path's going to open up tremendously if you can connect and pull in. So I'm going to close here, but I'm going to come right back after I look up Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth and family, so that's fun. I would suggest doing more research, and then during moon cycles, I'm not sure if you're connected to the moon cycles or anything, but I would, on moon cycles, maybe start a practice of meditation. So I'll include a grounding meditation in which you can do, and then after I finish, you can call down Lakshmi and ask for guidance and wisdom and whatever she's here to assist you with. And there was one other thing I also got from your higher self, that you incarnated into a family that surrounds you right now that is very supportive and helpful with this. So that's also great too, to know that you have support in moving forward with these practices if you choose to do so, with light and love.